The Moto G62 is a solid, good value 5G phone. It's a sound buy if you're happy to make do with its pedestrian camera and limited gaming performance. The Motorola Moto G62 is an affordable 5G phone with a reasonably large screen and stereo speakers. These three characteristics make it seem made for entertainment, rather than just the basics. It's a rock-solid phone for people who want an upgrade that opens them up to the 5G mobile internet speeds that are now standard in phone contracts in many countries. The Moto G62 also has a few of the characteristics that have made the Moto G series phones easy to recommend for so long. Overall, battery life is good, the design is unlikely to turn anyone off, the software is tasteful and uncluttered, and the price is right. Compromises naturally creep in when you deal with a tightly restricted budget, though. The Moto G62 does not have a particularly impressive camera array. Night images are poor, daytime pictures can look undersaturated or at least a little cool, and video is limited. The Moto G62 is similarly so-so for gaming, as its Snapdragon 480 Plus is a poor fit for graphically intensive titles, like Fortnite. In these two areas, the camera and high-end gaming, you'll get much better results if you spend a little more money. However, if you're interested in the Moto G62, it's probably because you don't want to spend more. If that's the case, this phone is one of the best to buy right now. Check out our rundown of the best Motorola phones and best cheap phones right now for more insight and alternatives. This phone's main job is to provide 5G mobile internet to those who haven't experienced it yet, and to do so on a tight budget. It costs £199/$399, clearly intended to shimmy under specific price borders. The Moto G62 was released in June 2022 alongside the higher-end Moto G82, which is a bit more powerful, a bit slimmer, and has a superior OLED display. If you're importing, take note there is a different version of the Moto G62 for the Indian market, which has a better Snapdragon 695 SoC and more RAM. It will perform a bit better than the model reviewed here. The Moto G series aims to provide affordable phones for those who want a reliable, fairly easy-to-use Android. You rarely get many touches of high-end design or cutting-edge tech, they just don't fit in the budget. The Moto G62's design slots into this ethos perfectly. It's an unobtrusive but fairly good-looking phone. Its back has a light reactive finish, but one without the potentially off-putting attention-seeking of phones from Realm. The camera surround has just enough specificity to its shape to appear designed with a look in mind. If the Moto G62 were made of glass and metal, it would seem right at home next to phones twice the price. But like almost every phone in this family since 2019's Moto G7, the Moto G62's shell is almost entirely plastic. The back and sides are plastic. Its topmost screen layer is glass, but it is not specified as Gorilla Glass, suggesting it is probably glass from another company, such as Dragon Trail. However, we are yet to put a scratch on it. The numerous budget-style aspects of the build don't matter much if you use the bundled case, which comes in the box. This leaves the one metal outer part of the phone exposed, the part you'll touch a bunch of times a day, the power button. The power button doubles as a fingerprint scanner. The Moto G62's design takes the case into account here and provides a clear guide as to where your thumb should sit, resulting in a completely intuitive unlocking experience. Fingerprint recognition is a touch slower than that of top-tier phones, but still feels great. You don't need to push the button in, the presence of your thumb is enough. You can also lightly double-tap the finger pad to bring up a box of app shortcuts. You're hopefully getting a good idea of what the Moto G62 offers by now. It's not flashy or high-end, but a few smart design choices mean its cheap parts don't draw too much attention. Haptics is one lower-end part that will be immediately obvious if you've used a higher-end phone before. The vibration motor is unsophisticated and makes haptic feedback feel like farts of varying intensity, not the more refined knocks and clicks of a phone like the OnePlus Nord 2T. The phone isn't waterproof either, but, like previous Motos of this stature, it is water repellent. Here's Motorola's official line on exactly what that means. Water repellent design creates a barrier to help protect against moderate exposure to water such as accidental spills, splashes, or light rain. The Moto G62 also has a 3.5mm headphone jack and stereo speakers. These offer decent maximum volume and a good stereo image for movies and games, although, unsurprisingly, this speaker array does not have the bass output of the best phone speakers. The mid-range also sounds slightly less refined than that of the step-up Moto G82, although the tonal consistency between the bottom and above screen drivers is good. Some stereo phone speakers have thin-sounding upper speakers, not the case here. What's the difference? OLEDs have emissive pixels, meaning each pixel emits its own light source. LCDs use a separate backlight, where the entire screen is illuminated when anything is displayed. It means LCDs can't deliver perfect black levels in a dark room. OLEDs typically offer richer color too, but there's nothing wrong with the Moto G62's own color depth. You can pick between natural and saturated modes. Both look good, but we'd suggest moving the color temperature slider a notch or two towards the warmer end, as the default skews cool in order to make the picture appear to pop a bit more. The Moto G62 has a 5000 mAh battery, which has been the standard for this series for a couple of generations now. It includes a dismal 10W charger but will draw up to around 15W if you use one of Motorola's more powerful adapters. We've seen reports the phone comes with a 15W charger in other territories, but our Moto G62 did not. For faster charging on a budget, check out something like the Poco M4 Pro. It includes a 33W charger. Using our power meter, we found the bundled charger actually draws up to 12W. However, real-world charging speeds are still poor.